This is video 2 from Unit 2, Lesson 2. So we've already looked at solving inequalities, including compound ones. But what we're going to focus on now is writing their solutions in these set and interval notations. So let's take a pretty basic example. X plus 2 is greater than 5. Okay, subtract 2. So I have x is greater than 3. On a number line, it looks like this. So open circle at 3, shaded to the right. Okay, so for set notation, uses these braces. So they look like kind of like curly brackets. So here is our set notation. So let me explain. We're going to use braces at the beginning and end. And then what you're saying is that the solution is x. So this x here. So you put your variable here. Right here, put your variable here. And then you use this vertical bar, and that vertical bar means such that, so x such that x is greater than 3. Okay, interval notation. So interval notation is based off our number line. So the set notation is based off your solution. The interval notation is based off the number line. So number lines use parentheses or brackets. So if I have an open circle, I'm going to use parentheses. So open circle is parentheses, closed circle, you'll use brackets. So my interval, my solutions start at 3, but I have an open circle, or I have an open circle in parentheses because I'm not including it. And we say comma because it's going to go to, and then it's continuous. So in math, the way that I write that it's continuous is I use infinity. So it's going to positive, I'll put a plus sign just to refer to positive infinity. So infinity is a sideways 8. You will always use parentheses with infinity. So this shaded in arrow here is telling us positive infinity. Okay, so I know that may seem a little confusing. Let's do a few more examples to go over this some more. Okay, so we'll solve just like normal. So subtract 7. That's 30. 7 minus 7 is 30. Divide by negative 3. And so I get x is less than or equal to, flip your sign, we divided by a negative, negative 10. Okay, so let me do set notation because that's based on my solution here. So I have x such that x is less than or equal to negative 10. All right, let's graph it on a number line so then I can do interval notation. I I have a closed circle at -10, and I shade left. Okay, so closed circle tells me I'm going to use a bracket. That left arrow that's filled in tells me that I'm going to -infinity. So that's going to help me with my interval notation. So you always have to write your intervals from the smallest to the biggest number. So I can't get any smaller than -infinity. So this one I have to start with -infinity, and then it goes up to -10. I include -10, so I have a bracket. Okay. Now let's look at some compound inequalities and how to write those. So remember, when it's an OR, we just solve each one individually. So I'm going to get x by itself on this first one. We're divided by +3, so nothing changes with my sign. Okay. Over here, I need to subtract 15 from both sides. That's okay that I get 0. 0 is still a number. Okay, so my solution is x is less than -2, or x is greater than 0. So we can write our set notation. I have x such that, so vertical bar, and then I put my solution. To do interval notation, I need my number line. This time 0 is part of my solution, so I will put a circle there. I have an open circle at -2 and an open circle at 0. It's OR, so I want to shade outside. Okay, so I need to write this as an interval. So I know I have this left arrow filled in, so -infinity. So -2, open circle means parentheses. Then I start back up at 0, open circle, parentheses, and I have the right arrow filled in, so +infinity. So I get two different intervals. I have -infinity to -2, and then I have 0 to +infinity. To connect those, we use a union symbol. So it's kind of just a wide U. That just tells me that I need both intervals, but they are not connected. I have a gap in between. So I have this gap here in between -2 and 0. Okay, this is a compound inequality as well. It's an AND because you have x in between two inequality symbols. So we need to subtract 2, this time from all 3 sides. Okay, so we can do our set notation. So set notation really doesn't change. You're always going to have your braces, you're going to have x such that, and then you put whatever you have as your solution. Okay, let's look at a number line to do our interval. So our intervals are what's shaded. Like, I'm just trying to describe what's shaded when I'm doing an interval. So I need a closed circle at -7. I need an open circle at 8. And remember, when x is in between these, I shade in between. So I only have one part of this number line that's shaded. So I'm only going to have one interval. So over here, I had two parts that were shaded. So I have two intervals. So my interval, I have a bracket at -7 and parentheses at 8. This time I don't need to use infinity, but I don't, neither arrow are filled in, so I'm not using negative or positive infinity. I'm just using -7 to 8. That's my solution. Okay, so go try the assignment. I know this might be a little confusing, might be new to some of you. So if you have questions, email me, try the assignment, see how it goes, and then email me if you have any questions.